Okay, we are recording, so this wonderful session will be captured for everybody who cannot join us here live. And it's me, Chrissy Key Rollins, here to bring a wrap up, closure, and a celebration to what has happened over this past week over in the Consciouspreneur Club. We have taken on the 5-day Transform Fear into Confidence challenge, and you have proven to me once again why we do this challenge every single month. First of all, we always got new members coming in, so it's a great opportunity to get plugged into the vibe, the energy, the focus of what this group is really all about. And then it gives you, as long-term members, an opportunity to dive in deeper, to refocus, to reset, and to just work through that next layer of realizing just how amazing you are, how very much what you bring to the table is needed in this world, and how just because you cannot imagine yourself fitting into the business models that you see around you or that have come before you, it doesn't mean that you're not meant to move forward with your heart's calling and really relax into getting paid to be you, being you more fully expressed in this world, and being able to support yourself in all ways. That I mean by that, in all ways through following that passion and following the calling that you have in your own heart. So for this session today, just to give you an overview of what to expect, I'm going to do a complete review. All 5 days of the challenge, we're just going to do a brief little synopsis of all of them. And anybody who knows me, if I'm talking, it's very rarely brief, but I will do my best to keep it concise. And I have a tendency to drop in some little extra stuff that probably wasn't in the videos. And it should be nice and meaty for you. And a great little training to come back to if you just kind of want a recap of everything and a reset of everything and just a refresher. So for those of you that are here live on the call, you are welcome to chat in. I do have you on mute, but feel free to use the chat feature while I'm doing the recap. And then when we get to a point after I do the recap, I'll open it up where we can ask some more question and answer, have a little question and answer period. But if there's anything that's coming up for you as you hear me talking, go ahead and use the chat and we can incorporate that into the conversation as well. I love things that are live. I love things that are interactive. I love seeing so many beautiful faces on the call. So thank you all for being here. And even if you're just here for the replay, I just really honor you for showing up and making this commitment to yourself. So often it can seem like we're showing up for other people or that this is about somebody else, but really, I just did a post in another group. I should share it in our group too, but I just did a post in another group about getting a return on your investment. And anytime that you invest your time, your money, or your energy towards something, what you're really investing in is yourself. And I commend you for taking that time to invest in yourself by plugging into this way of thinking, especially if it's something that's hitting home for you, causing or allowing a little bit more liberation or ease in your life. If it's something that resonates deeply true, I just really acknowledge and commend you for taking the time to dive a little bit deeper and saturate yourself a little bit more with this way of thinking. So I have been blown away this week by the amount of participation with the challenge. It's been so exciting to watch everybody throughout their journey. I love reading the comments. I love just seeing those minds blown open and those hearts open even wider, and just love seeing that excitement rekindle within you whenever you think about really monetizing and moving your business forward in a way that feels right and good and true to who you are. And again, that doesn't require you to change who you are to fit some old outdated model that is on its way out. We are here as a new wave of entrepreneurs. We're here to do business different. I am beyond honored to be a steward of this message and to bring this approach to the table on how you can approach business in a more confident way. Because for most of us, and from my experience, and when I connect with all of you, I find that we're in one of three places. Either we have that calling, but we're not quite sure which direction to go because we're just new to the game. Or we have that calling, we know which direction to go, or a direction that we can explore, but we're just not doing it. Or we know what direction to go, we've been going in that direction, and we're just not getting the results that we see are possible for other people. And when that happens, it can leave you thinking that you're the problem in the equation. People can take this and put it on and it's working for them, but it's not working for me. and we can begin to doubt ourselves. And that's how I kind of got to the point of realizing, wow, confidence is the name of the game. When you are confident that what you have to offer the world is of value, you're going to explore entrepreneurship. If you're confident that a certain business model will work, you're going to try it on for size. And when those things aren't enough to get the results that you really know are possible for you, then for me, it was like always the common denominator. The problem was here. But when I was introduced to a new way of doing business and I incorporated all the philosophies and concepts and beliefs that I had picked up along the way, I realized that that's all that needed to happen, was to have a rock solid level of confidence, or at least some level of confidence in the equation. And once I have some little platform of confidence to stand on, I'm usually willing to take that jump. But it's only when that little platform of confidence is in place that I'm willing to do it. Be it something that I want to do, like to do, don't like doing, it all comes down to the level of confidence. And I was just kind of got to that point where I was tired of beating myself over the head, trying to get myself to be enough, learn enough, do enough to make things work. When I realized it's just a lack of confidence. It's not a lack of skills. It's not a lack of training. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's not a lack of goods that we bring to the table. It's a lack of confidence. This just simplified my life and inspired this 5-day challenge. And I love that it resonates with so many people. And I love that it resonates month after month after month. I really feel it's just a more empowered, authentic, aligned way to do business. Not that there's anything wrong with the other model. If that's working for you, keep going with it. That's beautiful. I'm sure you're putting a lot of good into the world. But if you're looking for a way to kind of connect first and then have both parties benefit after, regardless if there's any kind of financial exchange or service exchange that happens, highly recommend exploring this route. And the more that you lean into it, test it out, fill it out for yourself, first of all, you're going to know one of two things: that it's either for you or it's not for you. And if it's not for you, great, good for you for exploring this option. But for most people that take this on, they just find it to be completely liberating and just empowering. It just simplifies everything. So we started the journey. And for those of you that haven't dove into all of this, basically what I did, I was like, okay, well, if confidence is the determining factor on if we take action or not, then what is that next layer? Like if we peel back the layer of action, we've got confidence. So let's keep peeling back those layers so we get to the core of what is confidence all about at the core level. And at the core level, I found self-love. So on day one, I invited you to just commit right then and there on following through with this challenge, to declare from this moment forward that you are just simply somebody who follows through. It's just who you are. It's simply what you do. And that's where we began our journey. And in each moment, you have that choice to decide. And you can choose to follow through as an act or a demonstration of your self-love, instead of doing it as a means to an end, or as a side effect of just trying to get to where you want to be on the other side. So when I was able to shift that for myself, when I began to partner with myself, when I began to really up my awareness around my self-talk, I mean, I wasn't new to this game. I've been on this personal development journey for a while whenever I came across, these stumbling blocks in my business. So I was already aware of self-talk. Like I was already aware not to beat myself up all the time with my self-talk. But when I thought about it in relation to my business, and I thought about how do I talk to myself on a daily basis in my business? Am I recognizing all my hard work, or am I just pointing out all of my flaws? I realized I was not being a very good partner. I was not being someone to myself that I would want to partner with in the long term. I was being like all the little people around me that were naysaying and doubting my journey. I was just joining the game, doing it internally. And as soon as I became aware of that, I really thought of it in the same sense of, if I was to show up physically in my work on a daily basis and physically interact with this other person who was talking to me the way that I talk to myself internally, yeah, I'd be sitting back giving that person the middle finger. I'd be passive aggressive as all get out, and I would not be pouring all of myself into my work in order to help somebody else succeed. If anything, I would be pouring myself into the work to prove my worth and my value. And for anybody who went through the 21-day money power shift, you already know that's setting yourself up for failure right there from the beginning. Because if you're aligning yourself to a mistruth about who you are, you're always going to be missing the mark. But when you can align yourself to the truth about who you are, which is somebody who has received a calling, somebody who has a gift to bring to the world, and you can become your own best business partner and talk to yourself in a loving and powerful, supportive way and encourage yourself through it and champion yourself through it. Not only will you have a better experience of you as you go through this journey, but you'll quickly learn you don't need as much external support as you might think. And I'm a solo entrepreneur. It's just me. And I'm the only entrepreneur in my family. So everybody thinks I'm crazy. And I can't believe there's a part of me, a huge part of me, that can't believe I've been pulling this off for 10 and a half years now. But the more that I up my awareness, the more I settle into who I am, the more I get that bigger perspective of what's really happening all around, the easier it gets. And now my mission is to make it as easy for you as possible so that you can learn through my experience and learn how to practically integrate these little, very simple but powerful shifts that allow for really quantum leaps. And it all begins with self-love. Like anything that you're doing, when you hit that stumbling block, come back to self-love. And when we're doing in order to get, it's just a completely different energy, completely different results, completely different message that you're sending out to the universe, completely different energy and vibe that you're emanating to all that engage with you and cross your path. But when you do it from a place of, I have massive value to bring to the table, and regardless if this person says yes or no, it is not a reflection of my value. But how I show up and how I interact with myself and how I see myself, regardless of how others see me, that's a reflection of my value. And the more that I can connect to that, and the more that I can get in touch with that, and the more that I can cultivate a powerful level of self-love, then the more I can align my actions with doing for the sake of experiencing pleasure and doing the things that I love instead of a means to an end. And perhaps that's part of the stumbling that kind of comes into the equation once we try to start charging for our services, is that it changes it from something that we're doing out of the love of doing it and out of the gift of giving it into something that we're doing with a set expectation of getting a certain return on the other side. And it will fumble you up if you don't have that rock solid level of self-love, or at least an awareness to return back to the self-love and to really take ownership and responsibility over the fact that you got one person who's going through this entire journey with you every step of the way. That one person is you. You spend the most of your time around you. And if you're not enjoying the experience that you have of you, what's the chances that this overall life experience is going to be enjoyable for you? And for myself, I just kind of hit a point where I was like, okay, I'm going to go through whatever I'm going to go through in life. The good, the bad, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, it's all going to happen. It might just get great from this moment forward. It might get a heck of a lot worse before it starts to get better. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know one thing. No matter what I go through, I always deserve more love, not less. And if I sit back and just wait for the love to come from outside without even bothering to lead by example by showing that love to myself first, I feel like I'm throwing away so much of my power because I can't control the circumstances around me. I can't control how I feel about myself. And the more that I sink into this journey of self-love, I'm like a year and a half into it now, daily active self-love. First of all, the better life gets, the better each experience of myself gets. And the easier it is for me to connect to and return to a peaceful internal state, no matter what is happening around me. Because when the going gets tough, pops into my head, I virtually link arms with my internal self. And I'm like, girlfriend, this might suck, but at least you're badass and we're going to do this together. And as soon as I make that connection, I promise you, I've done this dozens of times throughout my life. Instantly, whatever's happening out here changes. It either changes to go in the direction that I want, or my perspective of all of it just changes to the point that while it might continue, I don't feel as much angst. I don't feel as much resistance. And then it leads me to believe, y'all know me, one of my favorite questions, what if? What if? What if all that distraction, all that chaos, all that frustration is just a call to get my attention back on me? What if? I don't know until I experience it that way. And the more that I lean into it, the more it pays me back. So I taught you my practical application, perfect, easy, simple, only takes a second, maybe 2 or 3, maybe a fraction of a second, depending on how fast you talk, to just put your hand on your heart and just give yourself on a daily basis, and I love you. And to really give yourself time to sink into saying that to yourself like you would to any other loved one in your life. I tell my daughter like 17 times a minute that I love her. I mean, like, I can't stop myself from telling her, I love her. I just love you. I love you. I love you. I just think it every time I see her. Why not have that same thing going on for ourselves? And self-love is way different than self-centeredness, because in truth, when you fall in love with yourself, it is actually the most selfless thing that you can do. Because although it may look very selfish, especially to people around you, if they're used to you catering to them instead of to yourself, um, once it all gets settled, you'll see the more you settle into you, the more you focus on you, the more you love you, the more overflowing you become to spill out onto everybody else. So we're looking for all of it to come in this way, but it doesn't come that way. It comes this way. So this is where the journey begins, all about self-love. I invited you to start giving yourself your undivided attention. So while you're driving down the road, while you're watching TV, you can sit back and don't just do it. Realize you're doing it with somebody who's totally kick-ass. Realize you have you that you are spending that experience with, and begin to gauge a presence awareness to yourself as you go throughout your day. So simple, so tiny, little tweak in your awareness, a little upping in your perspective, but you'll begin to cultivate an amazing relationship with you. And if you feel like somebody who's ignored, overlooked, not heard, not recognized, start doing those things for yourself and watch how the world around you changes. It's pretty powerful. But again, it's only going to be a concept for you until you try it on for yourself. So that's why I always say, what if? What if? Because you got to try it out for yourself. And I also invited you to start feeling as much of your body as possible and getting back in touch with what is happening. Your body is full of wisdom. We think about the mind being the smart thing. The entire body is the mind. It extends beyond the brain. This is just where we observe processes taking place. It doesn't mean there's not stuff happening in other places. It's happening everywhere. Your body is an intelligent being. It can decipher truth from lies. It can tell you everything that's happening if you just learn how to listen to it. And the same thing with the self-talk and the intuition that we talked about. And if you really want to take this to the next level, I highly encourage you to consider joining the Consciouspreneur Mastermind. It's a ridiculously low investment, and you get access to in-depth training around self-love. You get access to in-depth training around unlocking and understanding your intuition. Practical, tangible, actionable steps, just like this 5-day journey. So consider that if this is something that really, really speaks to you. So after we got that solid core of self-love in place, we added on the layers. And the next layer that came on the outside of self-love is follow through. Now, what does follow through have to do with self-love? Well, one thing that I've learned from working with entrepreneurs and being an entrepreneur is that we're not always so sharp on follow through. We can have a lot of desire for follow through, but to actually follow through 100% on things, a lot of us really stumble. And again, if you're not following through, you're not taking the action, right? So if you're not taking the action, confidence, and then we work our way back, go back to the self-love. So as you sit in your spot of self-love and you begin to lean towards more confidence, how you get to that next step is by practicing follow through. And follow through can become an act of self-love. I'm going to do this to give this gift to myself, even if the gift that I'm giving to myself is a check mark on my page or a sticker on my sheet, whatever your system is to track whatever you've got going on. It becomes not a means to an end, but an act of self-love. You got that core of self-love. All of your follow through is an act of self-love to give back to yourself. So powerful, so beautiful how it all interweaves together. And during day 2 follow through, I talked about creating the energetic space. So making the space to receive. So maybe there's some unfinished tasks that you have floating around. Maybe you've got some papers that need to be filed. Maybe you got some emails that need to be sent. Maybe you have some giveaways that you need to post to your group. I have a 300 member giveaway right now. That it is coming. Don't you worry, people. You'll learn. It might come a little bit late for me, but you're going to get it, and you're going to get so much more than what I ever say to begin with. So stay with me on that. And see, I'm even leaning into a higher level of follow through and a more consistency with it. It's an ongoing evolution. We have to lift this veil that there's a right and a wrong way, and there's a perfection that you have to hit, or that you hit this point where you make it. When you make it, you just make it to your next point until you evolve again. That's it. So embrace the cycle of it and allow it to be this ongoing unfoldment, and realize that follow through is just paving the way. And also anything that you're not following through on, it is taking up space. So if you have piles of papers sitting around that need to be filed, obviously those are taking up physical space. So that is stopping and cluttering up not only your physical space, but it's also taking up energetic space. And as long as those papers are sitting there on your desk, you are sending the signal out to the universe. No matter what you're talking about, no matter what you're posting about, no matter what you're blogging about, you are sending out to the universe, whoa, 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 I have a lot here I'm not quite done with. So please don't send me any more until I'm done with this. And we keep waiting for the more to come in to free up our time so we'll have time for this, but that's not the way it works, baby. You got to turn that around. You have to turn it around. So if all of yourself out there in the world through your mouth is in and through your fingers, since we're in the social media land as you're typing and you're corresponding with everybody about your wants and your desires, your actions or lack thereof are expressing and sending out that vibe and that signal as well. So what you're saying and you're doing is just as important as what you're not saying and what you're not doing. And you can't just ignore this stuff away. It takes up energetic space. And when you're signaling to life, I want to have more, but I'm not handling what I've got going on, life's going to say, cool, let me know when you're ready. I got it right here. Whenever you're ready, just let me know. I got it here. That's the way life's going to be. Because life loves you too much to pile even more stuff on top of you. If you're saying, I'm overwhelmed, life says, okay, I'll back off. And then everything stops. And you're like, oh my God, what just happened? Everything just stopped. Well, you just said you were overwhelmed. So life responded to that. And what's interesting is that as you're putting that out, guess what life's going to give you? More to be overwhelmed by. And it's not going to bring in the peace that you're looking to have to escape it. Because there's no way out of this except for going in. And developing a habit of follow through. And again, which will only happen when you have a solid thing of self-love. So if you're someone who's like, I always procrastinate, I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm always self-sabotaging, I just don't follow through on things. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need to love yourself more. So stop making yourself wrong. Go back to day one, love yourself, give that solid level of love. You'll get into the action of follow through. And this is what you're going to be doing on the other side of it all anyway. When you're in that place of success, you're going to be making those posts, sending those emails, filing those papers. It's going to happen. So you might as well get into the habit of doing it. It's what you're going to be doing. And if you realize there's some of that doing that you don't want to be doing, then you've got one or two choices. You can say, okay, I'm going to be a good steward of this and get it done. And when I have that income, I can delegate this out to somebody else. Or you can go ahead and say, who's somebody I can delegate this out to, and watch life come in and support that. Because life doesn't want you running around being busy. Life wants you sitting still and projecting out all of your goodness into the world. So it's not about running around being busy. It's about being who you are, truly expressed in this world as consistently as possible. So again, on the other side, that's what you're going to be doing anyway. And whenever you have all this unused courses, all this unused training, all this unfinished business, when it's all sitting around, all these unused resources, uncompleted tasks and transactions, they're filling the space around you with a panicked, frantic, overwhelmed energy, and you have very little space to receive more of what you want. I mean, where's it going to go when your whole space is filled with overwhelm, panic, and freaking out? Think about it. It's big. You feel it big inside of you. It takes up a big space around you energetically. So I invited you to clear the space and to signal to life that you're ready. And I mean, pretty much, I mean, if you're just waiting to be busy, waiting to make it successful, waiting to get clients, why not spend your time following through on all these tasks? I just followed through on something Wednesday night. So this is Saturday. So 2-3 nights ago, I followed through on something that had been sitting left undone since March of 2015? No, 2016. Yeah, so a year and a half. A year and a half, something has been sitting. I know it's there. I know it's there. I always say, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And this was a big thing. Hence why I wasn't doing it and finding all the excuses not to do it. I was really scared, not of the task. The task was simple. That's why it was easy to put off. I was scared to finish the task, be on the other side of the task, and not be enough. I was scared to be on the other side of the task and be judged for what that task completion looks like. That's what I was afraid of. I was very scared of that. And I just hit a point where I was like, all right, enough's enough. I got to get this done. I know it needs to be done. I'm not even scared to do it. And if in the end, If somebody else looks at this and they say, guess what, Chrissy, you're out of here. What am I really losing? Somebody who doesn't support me, somebody who's not a champion for where I'm going, somebody who can't see the bigger vision or take time to get to know and understand. I'm not losing anything. And what happened on the other side? Nothing. Nothing except for awesomeness. Nothing except for thanks. Glad you finished that. Thanks for doing that. I really appreciate it. And cleared a huge path for what's to come next. And over the past 24 hours, I've been contacted by 3 people who want to get in touch with me and talk more about what's going on. I've been paid in 3 ways that I was not expecting, didn't know was going to happen. And this is just the beginning, because it's just been 24, 36 hours that I've have this done. It takes a big space because it's not just an incomplete spreadsheet. It's the energy that you're carrying around with you day in, day out, knowing that you're not doing it. And the odds, or the odds that you run against, what's it called? Like whenever you're butting up against yourself on the inside, you're butting up against that on the inside all the time. That's what you're carrying around. That's what's not complete. And all because of a misbelief that on the other side, that you're just not going to be enough. You have to risk, follow through, and getting to the other side, and still love yourself through the journey and on the other side, to realize nothing bad's going to happen. It's only going to get better. Whatever you're afraid of, even if you have to face it, it's going to be better on the other side of it. Everything that's good sometimes comes with a little bit of discomfort along the way. And that's okay. It's just part of the process, and to embrace it. So clear the space. I invited you to file those papers, change those light bulbs, fix that wiggly doorknob, whatever it is that you are putting off. You're saying to life, I'm not worth this satisfaction. I'm not worth this fulfillment. I don't deserve to be relaxed in my environment. I don't deserve to have things completed around me. That's what you're saying. Regardless if you're saying it here or if you're just saying it through your actions, that's what you're saying. And all of life's going to reflect that back. You're a little bit scattered all over the place. We're going to give you a life experience that's a little bit scattered and all over the place. It's not a punishment. It's just a response. And that response can trigger a response in you. And that response triggers your power of choice. And you have the power to choose. Am I going to love myself through this? Am I going to follow through as an act of self-love? Or even just get my ego on board by saying, hey, ego, on the other side, this is what you get. Follow through is really, really powerful, because what follow through does, besides clearing the space and saying to life, hey, I want you to follow through, so I'm following through. Think about that. You want life to follow through with all those desires that you have? You got to follow through first. If you hadn't noticed, you're the main equation in your life. Everywhere you go, there you are. There's nothing happening in your life without your involvement. I mean, there might be stuff happening on the peripherals, but as far as everywhere you go, there you are. You can't escape this. You can't hide from it. And you have to go first. It's your life. Life's waiting for you to take the lead. You make a move, life makes a move. You take a move, life makes a move. It's a beautiful dance that happens. It's a beautiful dance that happens. And what all this follow through does, it paves the way and it builds what we got to on day 3, which is the next big layer of the whole action and confidence game. Self-trust. Self-trust, self-trust, self-trust is the name of the game. If you are not taking action, it's because you're not confident. If you're not confident, it's because you don't trust yourself, period. And you can say, well, I trust myself. I know that when I show up and I do my work, it's really, really awesome. But if you're not trusting yourself to get the message out there, if you're not trusting yourself to engage with people, if you're not trusting that people are willing to invest in you, you're not trusting you. And when you're not trusting life, you're not just trusting you either. But maybe that's a whole different series. But self-trust brought us to the creation process, because this is where we get stuck as entrepreneurs. This is where that self-doubt begins to override. It's like, okay, now I know what to do. I need to have a marketing message. I need to have an email campaign. I need to put together a summit. I need to build my email list. I need to do this. I need to do that, right? So now we know what action to take. We start to follow through on the stuff that we're comfortable with. And that follow through, it builds our self-trust. It says, oh, I said I was going to do this and I did it. Look at that. Oh, I said I was going to do this and I did it. Look at that. And you begin to trust yourself more. So if you're struggling on the follow through, it's going to be really hard to trust yourself on the other side. And again, let go of thinking that there's something wrong with you. You're just somebody who procrastinates or somebody who's lazy, whatever other story you're telling yourself. That's not what's happening. You're just somebody who don't trust themselves. So go back to the self-love, then you'll build your way up to the self-trust. But it's the follow-through that builds the evidence that allows you to trust yourself more, or at least that's how it's been in my experience. And in the creation process, I invited you to really dive in and gave you some practical use of self-trust by inviting you to think about niching down your market. And that's such a cliche term. I don't even like saying the word niche just because I know it triggers so many remembrances of old stinky business models, but it's a word, so I'm using it. So I invited you to niche down. And what niching down does, it doesn't limit who you serve, it just limits and clarifies who you speak to. And believe me, you clarify this message, the people who are supposed to be working with you and hearing what you have going on, they're going to come to you even if they aren't in that audience. And it doesn't mean you don't serve them. It just means you don't market to them, because the bulk of the people that are looking for what you have to offer fit in to this specific crowd. That doesn't mean that everybody fits into it. I can't tell you, well, I probably could tell you if I sat down and count, but I have a good solid handful of clients that I work with that are not entrepreneurs. They might eventually one day consider the idea, but they've got some work to do before they would ever even get to that point. But they come to me because they struggle with anxiety, or they just feel that frustration and that struggle in life, and they know that they should have it better, easier, or that they've gone through harder stuff and they're really ready to get over it. So it's not that I don't serve this clientele. In fact, I don't even market to this clientele. I don't even speak to them, but they hear what I'm saying and they're attracted to it. And they're like, hey, I'm not a business owner, but can you do that for me? Can you help me with that too? Absolutely, I can help you with that too. Just like you know you can serve more than one audience, keep serving them. Just cater to, speak to. And the more that you get your finger on the pulse, get involved with that community, that tribe that you're speaking to, the easier all of your work gets, because you don't have to figure it out on your side. You got them telling you everything. Creating this Facebook group and really syncing up with my tribe of conscious entrepreneurs, y'all have liberated me and inspired me in ways that, I mean, I could never even put words to. A lot of my offerings and creations are based off of what I see you guys talking about and what I hear you talking about. And the more that I can understand that conscious entrepreneurs, we're so empathic and we feel big and we're so sensitive, and we just don't, we're just tired of hurting and struggling and fighting and all the pain and angst and convincing. We just don't like any of that stuff. And the more that I realize it's not just me that doesn't like that stuff, all of y'all don't like that stuff either, then I can relate my experiences more directly to you. I can get more in touch with speaking to you because I can relate to it more. This is the power of niching down. We think it's limiting. It's not. It's expanding. It's just, it's taking, like I think I said it in the series, it's going an inch wide, but a mile deep. So you're getting a more deep experience, a richer experience, a more connected experience. It's totally different than just picking an audience and saying, hey, I help, you know, whatever, fill in the blank. So this is why your audience isn't finding you. Niching down helps them find you. They're already looking for solutions. I mean, think about it. Your ideal client is looking for the answer that you provide. Are they or are they not? Your ideal client is not only seeking it, but has money in hand and wants to pay for it, right? Yes, that's our ideal person. So we've got to stop thinking that we have to hit people at a different spot and we got to go straight to the core. They are out there looking, but they don't know what the solution is. So you can't talk about what the solution is. You have to talk about how you can help them overcome whatever their problem is, how you can help them get around the challenge that they're facing, how you can help them get to that end place that they desire to go. Because if they knew that you had the solution, guess what they'd be doing? They'd be calling you up. They wouldn't be out there looking for it. If I went around and told everybody, you just need to love yourself more, majority of people be like, oh, I'm fine with that, moving on. But if I can get in touch with the fact that you struggle in your business, you have this push-pull relationship with money, if I can hit what the side effect is of that lack of self-love, now we're in a conversation. Now I've got your attention, because you've got two parts of you. You've got the internal self, which is all wise and knowing. You've got the external self, which has adapted itself to survive. So anytime that the internal self's like, I don't know about that, the external self's like, nope, we got this, moving on. So you got to hit on those deeper levels so that you can kind of overcome people's survival instincts. And, you know, you could look at this, oh, that's being manipulative, it's whatever. To me, it's all about intention. And if my intention is to bring more love to the world, and this is the way I go about doing it, to me, can't be the wrong way to do it. That's just me. It feels right to me. It feels in alignment. And it's just my own self-judgment, or when I step outside and look at it on the physical level, that it can start to look a little bit off. But all we got to do is uncover it, get to the roots, get back to what the roots are, because it always shows what the fruits are, right? So if you're only talking about you, what you do, how you do it, why you do it, you, and you only do stuff when you feel like doing it, when you don't feel like doing it, what you're in the mood for, and having a good day, bad day, you're making it all about you. And people sense that. They feel it. They might love you. They might love everything that you're about, but they're just not going to get started with you. They're not going to look to you as a serious person to get started with, because all they're hearing is me, 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 me. All they want to be hearing is you. Everybody's tuned to the same station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? So you have to start with that. You have to lead with that. You have to get in touch with that. And again, get your ego on board by saying, in the end, we're going to get something for you, but you can get your heart on board, because it moves you out of the equation. It allows you to free up all your energy, where you can just focus on that other person. And then you can get attached to helping that person get what they want, which, when it's a good fit with what you have to offer, happens to be a natural marriage, instead of something that's forced or awkward, or where you walk away thinking, oh, I just said the wrong thing to the wrong person. And they want confidence that you'll deliver. That's what they want. That's what they want. They don't want the how. I can't tell you how many people have got started with me and paid me large sums of money. I mean, what I consider to be large sums of money, multiple thousands of dollars. And they don't even know what's going to happen, because they just are buying my confidence. That's what they want. They have confidence that I'll be able to deliver, because I'm confident I'm going to deliver. They don't ever stop to ask how. That's always on the other side. Okay, so here's my money. And now what are we going to do? It's always on the other side. You think people are trying to buy a service. You think they're trying to buy a good. They're buying your confidence, period. End of the day. End of the day. And if you have good success with sales, take a look at that. You'll see, oh yeah, I'm totally confident around this, that, and that, right? You're confident in who you are. You're confident not that you have all the answers, but you know where to find the answers. Stop waiting for perfection. Stop waiting for the fear to go away. It's not. It just turns into a thrilling sensation instead of a totally petrifying sensation. At least that's what it's done for me. So once we get through the self-love and we get into that habit of follow through, we're starting to build our self-trust. What that self-trust leads us to is day 4, which is clarity. You will never find clarity if you don't have self-trust. So for anybody out there, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody who's here live or anybody who I know is watching the replay, but if you happen to be someone who's like, I just don't know which direction to go to. I don't know how to niche down. I don't know which audience to speak to. I don't know how to whatever. I don't know. I don't have clarity. I could go in 7 different directions. I just don't know which path to choose. That lack of clarity, go back to self-trust, because self-trust is what's going to break free your clarity. As soon as you get in touch with self-trust, as soon as I get in touch with self-trust, as soon as I line up with it, bam, all the clarity falls into place. And now I've gotten to the point that I just kind of play with the universe. So I surrender my self-trust over to the universe, and then bam, guess what the universe delivers? Everything that I need. So anytime that I'm feeling kind of muddled and unsure, I just surrender it over, and then bam, clarity comes to me. Why? I trust myself. I trust the universe. I trust this dance that we're doing together. I trust that life wants what I want, which is why I want it, because life is calling me to my calling. What I want in the world is calling me home. So I can trust that, and I can surrender to that. And the more that I trust it, the more that I surrender, easier it is to get to clarity. So if you're getting muddled in the how of things, rest into self-trust, and the clarity will show itself. And this is where I started talking about prosperity consciousness, clearing out those limited beliefs, clearing out those limiting blocks, beginning to be comfortable with receiving money, and also upping our self-care. And I share with you that the bottom line is this: in order to heal your business, your relationship, your life, whatever it is that you're trying to fix because it's broken, right? I'm an air quote fan if you've never noticed that. The bottom line is this: in order to heal your business, your life, your relationships, you have to heal yourself first. How's that for some clarity? If you want people to give to you, to invest in you, to honor your gifts, you have to give to you, invest in you, and honor your gifts first. It's a reciprocal thing that happens. You are leading the way. So I invited you on this Clarity Day to begin receiving anywhere and every way that you possibly can, and begin to notice all the ways that you stop yourself from receiving. This was a big eye opener for me. Like, I realized, especially in the couple of months right before I started implementing everything that I share in the 21 day money power shift, in those couple of months before, everything just got really intense. And I realized that the intensity that I was feeling is because everything I want's trying to come in, and all I'm doing is this and pushing it back out. And I thought, how interesting, because, for years consciously, I've been on this self-development, personal success path. So I think that I'm sitting here like, come on, come on, come on in. But I realized I am doing everything I can to keep it coming to me. And that was a big eye opener. So I started to incorporate and implement the things that I share in the 21 day money power shift, which, by the way, we're going to be starting a second round of beta testing next week. Like, it officially starts on the 11th, but I like to always start things a little bit early. So we're going to be starting it on Monday with day 0 of the 21 days. But that whole process of learning how to receive, that's why when I felt called to make a money course, I'm like, I'm not making a money course. I'm making a course to teach people how to receive, because you don't have a money issue. You have a receiving issue. You have a receiving issue. So when you can begin to receive everywhere that you can, then you start to have a different experience. And again, it all starts with you, and that clarity really paves the way. So I invited you to ask yourself, where can I allow more? And I invited you to write down everything that comes up for you around money in particular, because we have such a struggle as conscious entrepreneurs, as sensitive souls, whenever it comes to receiving money. It's a sticking point for us for whatever reason. Well, I know the reason, and you'll know the reason too. Take the 21 day money power shift. But to really understand that your money experience is based on the stories and the perceptions that you are carrying in your conscious and subconscious stories around money, then I gave you that invitation to write out everything that you've seen, heard, thought, demonstrated. Just write out all the limiting beliefs that you can possibly come up with around money that you've experienced. And then I invite you to rewrite them. Just rewrite them as the opposite. And what you likely found is that the opposite really lines up with what you consciously believe to be true. So now we just got to sink that story in so it can loosen up and get the old story out. You've been running off those old stories long enough. And as of today, as of day 4 of the challenge, and as of today, I'll just remind you, you now have permission. I give you full permission to liberate yourself. Just completely liberate yourself of those old stories and step into your new story. But you can't just write the story, read it, and then bam, everything changes. You have to move forward as if that is now your life experience. And you have to move forward as if that's your life experience before it will be your life experience. So I invite you just to reread the story as often as possible. And you really use it as a reminder that you are creating the future experience. You're not just reliving the past. You're creating a future experience. So the story that you wrote down, that's the story you've been living off of. Now you're creating something new. And if you keep running back to what happened before, life's going to look a lot like what it looked like before. Because remember, life is not anything except for the experience that you have of you in any given moment. So if you're running back to the past and putting yourself in past situations and giving yourself a past experience of yourself, life's not going to look like it's changing at all. In fact, it might look like it's going backwards or starting to revert. And that's just a reminder that, hey, you're creating something new. So you got to put a new thought process forward in this too. And you no longer have to go back to those past beliefs, revisit them whenever they surface. Just a reminder to love yourself more. Just a reminder of what you're freeing yourself of. Not anything to freak out or think, oh, great, I'm backsliding. You're not backsliding, baby. You're just healing. That's it. You're just healing. And you're given the opportunity to return to that healing. That's all. Very, very simple. Not as complicated as they usually are. Let's see. Sarah just chimed in here. She says, really, the 21-day money challenge you can use for almost anything in your life. Tops for money, but if you can also use it in any kind of limiting beliefs and personal growth. Absolutely. When I finished this 21-day money power shift, I was like, shit, I can sit back and put relationships here. I can put business here. I can put anything in that spot of money, and you will change it. You will transform it. Don't tell other people that, because I might make other courses and want to sell them individually as well, but you'll know it. And I'm just kidding, obviously. I want everybody to know that and to be liberated from that. But Some people might not feel like they've got an issue with money. They might feel like there struggles with relationships. So if I say, here's a 21-day money power shift that you can use for everything, they might not put those pieces together. That's why you got to know your audience. That's the power of niching down. So yes, thank you, Sarah, for that. You did such a beautiful transformation during that 21 days. It was just a real honor to watch you live out the power that I knew was possible and that I felt and lived for myself. It was such an honor because, I get these ideas, these inspirations. I see how they work for me. I hope that I can translate them over in a way that's tangible and practical, but I never know. Are you going to try this on? And then you're going to be like, yeah, Chrissy, that didn't work for me. Didn't think so. Because this works universally, and every single person who's gone through it. I mean, I just posted it to the group. I was reading back through some of the surveys, and every single person who completed a survey for the question that said, what could have made this course more epic? I really thought people would say like, oh, split up the information, or maybe don't include so much, or maybe do this kind of delivery instead. No, you know what everybody put? If I took it again, that's what would make it more epic the second time. I gotta agree. It definitely will make it more epic every single time that you do it. Yes, Rachel, do that survey. I would love to get some more feedback to share with everybody. Okay, so once you can clear the way, so that clarity is around self-trust and getting clarity on which direction to go, but it's also about clearing out the stuff that's holding you back. That's why we rewrote the money story on that day. And now that you have that clear path, you've got that self-love's being built, so it's leading you to follow through. That follow through is solidifying your self-trust. That self-trust is leading to a brand new level of clarity. Right? Because when you trust yourself, you can rewrite those stories and you can move forward as if. So that brought us to day 5, which was all about confidence. And this is to bring it into the entrepreneurial journey. This is where I introduce you to a new way of making sales without selling anything. And it's more about engaging with people and making the offer more so than giving your sales pitch. Because that's kind of the old model. The old model is call up all your friends and family, hit up everybody that you know on Facebook, tell them what you're doing, and see if they want to do it too. Go on. Go do it. That's the old model. The new model is, hey, I'm super committed to transforming the lives of others, and it made me think about you because you're one of the most awesome people that I know, and it got me super curious. What do you really want in your life? What are you experiencing now, and what do you feel like is holding you back? And when you help somebody, just hold the space for them to connect to their own internal desires and self and to bring forward where they want to go, where they're at right now, and what is holding them back. They sell themselves. There's no selling. There's no convincing. Once you get to that point and someone says, hey, I'm having this challenge, and you say, hey, I help with that challenge, then they say, oh, well, I want you to help me with the challenge. You don't have to give away your services. You don't have to do an hour of free coaching. All that you have to do is listen and connect. That's it. And that should really get a lot of us conscious entrepreneurs excited because that's just a heck of a lot easier than trying to say the right thing to the right person at the right way at the right time. And it's a lot less pressure, and it gives you an opportunity to do what you do best, which is serve people. And when you can make your sales an act of service, ooh, I should write that down. When you can make your sales an act of service, that's the sweet spot, baby. Make your sales an act of service. Ooh, make your sales an act of self-love. I got chills just thinking that one. That's beautiful. When you can make your sales an act of service, then no matter the outcome, regardless if they invest or not, which if they do or not, we can talk about it in a minute, you will have provided a service. And when there is a resonance, there is a good match. When that person says, this is the struggle that I'm having, and you say, this is exactly what I help people with, if they say no at that point, it is not you, baby. They ain't saying no to you. They're saying no to themselves. They're saying, I don't believe that I will do whatever it takes or go through whatever it is that you are offering me, that I will be in this place of having results at the end. That's it. It's not that they don't have the money. It's not that they don't have the time. I don't care what the excuse is. If they see that what they want, you can help them get, and there's a resonance between the two of you, and they're not taking action, it is not about you. It is about them. And it gives you an opportunity to step forward as an advocate for their dreams. And it puts you in a different position than asking for somebody to give you their money. You're not asking for them to give you their money. You're asking for them to make a power move to invest in their own dreams and their own desires and to move their mission forward with your help. That's all that's happening. And if they're saying no to themselves. They're not saying no to you. And when it's not a good fit, because this happens. I met an amazing gal yesterday. Amazing. I would love nothing more than to swoop into her life and to help her create a business out of her desires. I would love to help her monetize herself. But I had a clear feeling that from the story that she told me as we're connecting, she's not in a place to hit the ground running with starting a business. She's completing some things, and maybe on the other side of that, she will. So there was a different level of support that I knew intuitively would be a better fit. So yeah, I mentioned I got some one-on-one work that I would love to do with you, but honestly, right now, I don't feel like it would be a service for me to even tell you about it. But I'd love to tell you about it in another time when you're wrapped up with what you're doing. And this is how I can support you right now. Are you interested in this? That's so different, because then you become their advocate, their advisor, their guide, and you're not the person who's trying to sell or get their money. So now that you've become your own best business partner, now that you've followed through an unfinished business and have created space, now that you've identified who you want to serve, how you're going to speak directly to them, and you have cleared all those limiting beliefs, you can now engage and have this level of conversation, detached from the result, always knowing that you will forever connect with the right people, and that the people who don't invest and walk away, you will have total peace of mind around that. And it took me a couple of times of allowing people who wanted to say yes, even though I knew that they weren't a good fit. It took a couple of times of working with people like that to realize it has to be a good fit. Even if they want to hire me, if it's not a good fit, there's nothing fun about taking somebody's money and having them not show up and not do the work. There's nothing enjoyable about that, especially for us integrity-filled, authentic entrepreneurs. Like, there's nothing fun about that. We want that magic to happen for our people. And when you take this approach, you're just guaranteed. You have your peace of mind. The other person has their peace of mind. And again, it changes from this sales pitch to this relationship. And to me, that's honoring this rise of the divine feminine energy that is happening universally right now at this time. And I believe that the more feminine way of doing business is relationship building. And it doesn't mean that just ladies should take this approach. It just means that this is going to help to balance that masculine facade of perfection. And again, this isn't a female male thing as much as a physical expression and an unseen behind the physical expression, masculine and feminine way. Because everything that is made manifest is a dance between those two elements: the physical side that's expressed outwardly, the energetic and feminine side that's behind its creation. And this allows us to bring that into the sales conversation. And then you step into another realm. You start playing a totally different game, and everything changes. And that's the point of this. And you practice these, I tell you, they will give you rock solid confidence that you can just sit back, relax, and not have to prep, run around, sweat, stress. You just sit back. Be you, and everything will take care of itself. That doesn't mean sit on the couch, grab a snack, take an hour for 15 years, and wake up rich. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, relax, baby. You've got this. Just relax. Love yourself. Trust yourself. And dare to be bold on the other side of it. So in a nutshell, a lengthy nutshell, that is a recap of the challenge. And my apologies for taking it so long, but I'm fired up about this. I think this week, it was such a rich challenge experience. I've had great breakthroughs in my own personal life, and I just feel extra passionate about all of this. But I do want to honor everybody's time and not keep us on the phone all day. So I would love to open up the line. If you have any questions, any comments, anything that you want to contribute, how is this hitting for you? How is this landing for you? What was your experience through the challenge? Is there anywhere that I can do some quick little shifts or clarifying or answer any questions? I'll just unmute the lines, and you can jump out. All the lines are unmuted. You can use the chat feature too if you're in a place that you can't talk. And if nobody has anything that they want to contribute, then I'll just assume you're all stunned silent by my awesomeness. And we can move on to a nice little meditation to close out.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing the 21-day money shift again. That's going to be awesome. There's some things that I wasn't able to do, and like rewriting the money story. And I had done that in another program, but I think that's really going to be important, because wrapping your mind around like creating your whole money story, I mean, that's so powerful. And I think it seems like, because I'm a member of the mastermind group too, and it seems like what you're teaching us is like, you know what, humans, we have the power to do everything that we want. And being an entrepreneur, you know, you're not really taught those kinds of things in school. And so here we are, you know, we're adults and we're learning this. And part of it for me, I think, Christy, is just wrapping my mind around the fact that we are that powerful. And so that's taking some time, some like shattering the glass. You know, somebody had a chisel and was chiseling away at this big mound of rock, and inside is, you know, the beautiful diamond inside, and it's full of coal on the outside, and it's just chipping away at all the old processes and beliefs and stuff we've inherited from our parents and, you know, their parents and all the way. I mean, how far back does it go? All of these things that surrounded by fear, and it's like, no, hold on a second. We are powerful. We can make things happen in our life. So yeah, I just want to thank you for what you're doing and for doing it again and again and again. I really appreciate it.
You are so welcome, Sarah, and thank you so much for stepping forward and sharing that. You gave my chills. So I got chills on top of chills on top of chills just listening to you, because there's such truth in what you're sharing. We are so powerful, and that's why it is the most radical thing that us beautiful, sensitive souls that are often barreled over and run down and stepped on and just barreled over is the way that I feel in my life a lot, by these more predominant, aggressive type energies in the world that are really good for that old business model, really good at taking it and just running with it. For us, that we're so sensitive and we feel so much. The most radical thing that we can do is to be confident in who we are and our beliefs and what it is that we came here to do. It is the most radical act that we can do. And some of us fear that because we've kind of been conditioned that power means running people over, but it doesn't. And that's where that feminine energy really comes in, because women step forward in a place of power and seeking power in order to share it out. And that's more of what drives us conscious entrepreneurs, is this more universal idea of that we can all rise together. So the idea that if I step forward in my confidence and I start to take all this power that I have, it's going to make me like the center of the equation. It's kind of the opposite thinking. It really allows you to infuse yourself into everything. And then it allows you to connect to everything that you are. And it allows you to find the connection of yourself through everything that's around us that seems disconnected and separate from us. So it's just a completely different paradigm for stepping into power. And it really is a radical act, especially since the majority of us live in a society that really literally profits from our self-doubt and not trusting ourselves and our lack of self-confidence and self-love. They profit from us. They prey on our fears, they build them up, and they get us to do things based off of our fears. And up until now, majority of us have been living our life that way. And it's time to take back that power, to reel in that fear, and to question what is happening around us and our participation in it, and to really trust our hearts. I mean, we are amazing people. We're amazing. And there's a part of you that knows that intuitively and innately within you. You know you're a good, amazing person. That's why you feel like maybe I could make this work, because I know that if that money comes to me, I'm going to do really great things with it. And I know I'm not going to take advantage of people or manipulate them. I know I'm going to be there with this genuine heart. And that's what gets us on board. But when we can trust that heart and we can be bold in our confidence and put that expression forward, we really reclaim our power, can channel it to the ways that we really want to use it. And I love witnessing the transformation that's taken place with you, Sarah, and especially since you've become involved in the mastermind, because that was my vision. You know, again, we have this old model. You got to invest big to get the goods. there is a power shift that happens when you can love and trust yourself enough to make that big investment. There's something amazing that happens. It changed my life when I started investing big in myself. It's a very cool and powerful thing that happens. But I also believe that the times are changing and that we need to get our hands on this level of content at a lower price point so that we can do the healing that's needed so that we can expand bigger. And I think that that's when I put out this model, and I was like, I need an outlet, a funnel that I can just pour all my content into and then just support people that have a little bit of skin in the game and see if we can make magic that way. Sarah, you've been a living proof. Sarah S, who's on the line right now, and Sarah A, who's listening, both of you ladies have been living proof that that investment, that commitment on your part, you can invest low and consume big and make a really big change. And that's just been just a beautiful gift to be able to extend to you. It allows me to kind of drip on you in a way that I just can't do with the high end offer only. And I just love, I hope that more and more people are attracted to this work, join the mastermind, and can evolve to the same degree that you've been experiencing and that Sarah A's been experiencing for just her month that she's been in the group and hanging around us. I've seen so much change in just that 1 month. And if these lower end investment opportunities aren't there to get this massive value out of, and to also help me to understand my value, my value is me. Content is content. You can Google, how do I do this? And you can get answers. The value of the equation is when we step ourselves into it. So I love that I have a community that everybody's paying a little so I can still get things met on my end, and I can show up big for this group instead of just one person at a time. So I love that you're utilizing that. I love that you're finding benefit. And Sarah, I'm so excited. Sarah A, I'm excited that you decided to stick around. And so many people, I mean, I think all except for 2 people have I heard back from that joined for the challenge are going to take the challenge again and stay in the group. And I think we had 21 people, 22 people that went through it last round. And we've got, I think, 12 committed so far to get started next week. I want to just bring more people into that. And what's cool and what I've learned is that it's not just me and it's not just the content. It's y'all. Y'all are making this supportive environment of people championing each other on, and this vulnerability is happening. It's just, y'all are making magic, and I'm just honored to be a steward of it. I'm honored to host it and to contribute in any way that I can. But y'all make the magic. Y'all make the magic. I'm just honored to have you there to share it with. So thank you for stepping out. Any other shares before we get into a little settled space and have a little lovely meditation, which I'm actually sorry guys, I'm going to cut off the recording. So if you're watching the replay, you got to come to these live things if you want these extra sweet little bonuses. I will invite you to come into that second round of the 21-day money power shift. We're starting 7/11. I'm doing it for the same beta pricing, ridiculously low. And this will be the last time that you see me offer this. This will be the last time you see me offer it at this price, guaranteed. $33 to join for the 21 days. You get 1 full month in the mastermind, which gives you access to the group session that happens in there monthly. It gives you access to in-depth training on self-love, self-value, your intuition, mastering manifesting, engaging alchemy. I mean, hello, where else can you get an alchemy training? I don't know. Especially for just, being part of a group. And of course, you get the full 21-day money power shift. And you're in a position to ask me more questions. And with the power shift, you get the daily emails. You're going to get a daily little thought for the day, a little action step, a way that you can immediately integrate it. You're going to have a beautiful visual journal to journal on. You're going to have a beautiful little image that you have for the day. I'm even going to start including the song of the day because somebody said that they really liked having that song every day. So I'm going to start including that in the email just to give you another anchor so that when you hear that song go on in your life or it pops in your head, you can anchor back into this work. So no matter what kind of learner you are, there's going to be a way for you to really integrate this in. It's fun. It's simple. It's honest. It's very real. It's very raw. And it is exactly what it is. It is a power shift, and it will shift the power from being outside of you when money enters the equation to you having the power whenever money's there or not there. And so I'd love for you to join. If you want to join with a partner,
Hi.
you can have 2 people join.
Morning.
For Two people can join for $44. So one for 33 or two for 44. That's ridiculous, y'all. I mean, seriously ridiculous. I want it to be a total no-brainer, and I wanted to smooth out everything out in the course and have a seamless delivery process and everything, so I could put a higher price point on it. Anybody who goes through this will absolutely agree that it is absolutely invaluable what you get. And if you go through this, if you do all the days and you're like, Chrissy, I did all this shit and it does not work. None of it works. None of it. And you did it and you and I talk. If you're not getting it, I'll give you your money back. I am fine with that. That is not a problem because I know it's going to work. I know you're going to want to stay around. I know you're going to want to go through it another round. I know you're going to be revisiting this content because, again, you can put the word money there. You can put any word there. This is how you change your life from the inside out. This hits on all those basic foundational pillars that have to be there. It takes everything that we talked about in the 5-day Transform Fear into Confidence Challenge, and it just goes much deeper, and it just makes it so simple, bite-sized, digestible. It's amazing, and it's brilliant. And I feel, again, honored to be a steward of bringing this message forward. I can't take claim for it in the sense of it came to me and through me and out of me, and I'm honored to bring it to all of you. But I did not think my way through this course, not at all. Okay, y'all. I did the anchor every day, even when I did not post, even with the fear and the money. Yeah, so those daily anchors, it's nice. That's why I was like, it's not just about the way that I learn. It's about the way that everybody learns. So I wanted to give you just enough that you could really get your feet wet, but not so much that you feel overwhelmed or like, oh, it's a 20-minute training video and a 5-page workbook. I got to put that off till, 2021 when I've got the time to sit down and actually do it. No, this is bite-sized, digestible, no excuses. I tried to keep all the videos 7 minutes or less. I did realize as the series went on, there was 2 or 3 that hit, I think there was one that hit 13 minutes, maybe one that hit 10 minutes, but these are brief and powerful. They're so potent. They're so potent that if you only got 5 minutes and you can't watch the whole thing, just do 5 minutes. Put it on while you're brushing your teeth or whatever it is. Just allow yourself to lift those excuses and allow yourself to receive the support. And I will give you step by step. And then every week we'll do a live laser coaching call. I don't know if I'm going to include that when this goes bigger, by the way. I might only do one live coaching call. It might just work better logistically, but every week you're going to have that live laser coaching so that I can really just iron out and make sure. And I think that this program's on point now after that first run. I just want to do the second run so that everybody can be like, psh, perfect. That's what I'm looking for before I put it out there. And what am I going to put it out there for? Probably around 111. That's what I'm kind of feeling. Maybe do an early bird special of $77. That's just for one person. That's not going to be for 2. So just a heads up, something to consider. If it's something that's calling to you. Y'all, I'm sweating over here. Y'all got me hot and going. You got my passion pouring out. So sorry, I'm getting a little sweaty here, but this is North Carolina in July. You can't not sweat in North Carolina in July. You just say North Carolina in July. I just felt another trickle of sweat pour down my face. You walk outside at 7 o'clock and it's like 95 degrees and 150% humidity. It's like, oh, I'm going to swim out to water my plants. Swim back inside, towel off for the day. All right, anybody else want to jump out before we settle into a beautiful meditation? I thank all of you for hanging with me for this long and going through this whole journey. I hope it was so worth it. Wow, we can't beat 70 here. Where are you at, Robert? Can't beat 70.
It's Monterey, California.
Ah, lucky rascal. Yeah, you got your own stuff that comes along with living in California for sure, but you cannot beat that weather. Not at all. I'm glad that you could join. I know you didn't get to participate in all the videos and everything. Was this helpful for you today?
Yeah, no, it actually was helpful. A lot of really good points resonated, and it's funny. I think for those of us, I'll just speak for myself, that has been on this journey. Like, these are the places where people who are conscious tend to get hung up. So I think you definitely hit on the right points, and probably, once I understand more about your journey, probably the exact things that you went through as you were growing and scaling your business and these are the places that you got hung up. And it's like, oh, okay, this is where you get stuck.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of these spiritual concepts that we end up interweaving into our path as conscious entrepreneurs. As we're waking up, our spirituality gets entwined in everything that we do. And there's so many amazing spiritual beliefs and concepts that are out there that have gotten us to this point. But we've hit a point where we have to set some of those aside just for a time being and work on the self-love piece so that we can pick those back up and not take them on as something that is a means to an end or a way to change ourselves, but is just again, another way to serve ourselves, to allow ourselves to receive, to honor the divinity that we are and that we're surrounded by, and to move out of this old paradigm of doing in order to get. It appears we're on this timeline that's unfolding in a certain order. So A happens, which leads to B, that ends up going over here to D. But that's not how the universe works at all. It's way more complex. It's way more intertwined. And there's no earning involved in our receiving. And that's something we just have to learn how to condition ourselves out of, and learn that we already are enough. There's not enough right moves that's going to make you immune from life, or immune from emotions, or immune from life happening with the ups and the downs. It's just really relaxing into the flow of it all, and allowing your soul to fully integrate with your ego. I think that's part of it too. The old paradigm is kind of like, get that ego guy out of the way because he's screwing everything up. But in truth, it's like, no, you got to find that marriage and that dance and allow the soul to settle into your physical form so that your survival self can learn to discern where to pull back on its survival techniques and where to let that soul come through and lead the way. And then you hit this place of doing this beautiful dance with your internal self and your external self, living out your internal self's desires. And then this magic and this flow and this ease just comes into life, but that doesn't free you of the emotions or the ups and downs. And we have to learn that utopia is the experience that we have of us, no matter what's happening. It is not a physical environment that we arrive to and then try to stay at. It's an internal environment that we can bring everywhere we go. That's why they say the kingdom of heaven is found within. It's within us to bring that experience of us. And I'm so glad that you found this group and that you're just kind of diving in head first to all of this. I hope that it answers a lot of questions and makes a lot of clarity. And I look forward to connecting with you further.
Cool.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. All right, any other hands? Rachel says, I was just in Robert's area last week through Santa Cruz. Didn't go right into Monterey, but earlier this week. That's awesome. Yay. All right, y'all. Get settled in. I am going to mute the lines back out. I am going to...
Wendy's used to.
Hit the wrong button. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Got everybody muted out here. Oh, Rachel, were you going to share or are you good? Okay. I am going to cut off the recording now. So thank you so much. If you watch for the replay, you made it all the way to the end. You can go to the 21-day Money Power Shift website. It's a bit.ly address. So bit.ly/Money Power Shift. All lowercase letters, one word, Money Power Shift. bit.ly Money Power Shift. For all the details, you can see some testimonies. You can figure out the format. If you got any questions, just hit me up. I'm also doing a special offer right now that if you refer 3 people, you can get in for free. So you refer 3, you're in for free. If you're already in it, you refer 3 people, I will give you free one-on-one time with me. We can focus on money integration. We can focus on business strategy. We can focus on whatever you want. We can work on your relationship, whatever you want. You just get that one-on-one time with me. So I really appreciate your referrals. I really appreciate your help spreading the word. And, remember, grab a partner and do this with a friend. It will make the journey that much more rich for both of you. So thank you for being here. Thanks for watching all this training. If you're on the line live, just stick with me. I'm going to turn off the recording and turn some AC on. And I'll be right back. Okay. Love to everybody who's watching the replay.